All right, everybody. This is the Digital Craft, the radio show. I feel like I should be talking about this in a very exciting voice because this is an intro with intro music. I should talk about being an underground bunker or being amazing or being at the top of Mount Rushmore or Mount something. But really, we're just going to do a quick break in the music, and then we're going to come in with a subtle, poorly looped track. This is going to get us a little more comfortable towards the topics we're talking about, which is computers, internet, websites, graphic design, programming, music. And this is the start of the show and the end of the intro.
So, we're doing a radio show. 7:30 a.m. For me, that's like 3 a.m. But anyway, so we're rendering a video right now. So I decided I was going to try and stay awake by doing a radio show while I wait for that to render and then upload and then hopefully go to bed. And that is the updates for today's show. Other update is that we are going to start doing a regular show every Sunday right after Justin's live speak show over on Spreaker. We have not thought of a catchy title for it yet. The nerd block, the tech block, the something block, whatever. Some sort of catchiness we will put on it. I think I said that backwards. So bear with me. It's early for me. I have not slept yet. I have been making videos, and I will forewarn anybody listening now, which I don't know who else is awake anyways. So, but my children and wife and dogs will all wake up at some point in the near future. So if there is a quick impromptu commercial break, it is because I'm going to spare you the sound of 3 wiener dachshunds and a beagle barking and thumping upstairs and children yelling and screaming and all the hellfire that goes with that every morning. So that is that. The title of the show, www.brain.money. It's not a real website, I promise. I hope. So don't go there, just in case. But last time I checked, .money was not an option. But I kind of came up with the idea of the show last night and didn't really have a title for it. Didn't really have the time to do it, but it kind of came about. It's come about over a series of events, but more specifically yesterday evening, I was having a talk with a family member about what I do. Of course, they know what I do, but yeah, just talking about what I do, what they do. Both of us work for ourselves. That is a common theme in my family, and how to minimize the stress of working for yourself and knowing when to evolve into the next, as my wife calls it, phase of my career, but of anybody's career, and while working for themselves. And it kind of brought into, I started talking about, I always preach to them about this passive income, or as people are starting to realize, I like to call it pseudo-passive, since I actually do work, but a lot of times that work then just sits and makes money, so it's kind of pseudo-passive income. But I try to encourage as many people as I can to find a way to do that. Not everybody has the knowledge to use the internet to do it. Not everybody has the interest in doing it, but and not everybody has a skill or something in their www.brain to do this. But a lot of people do. They may not know it, and they may not have figured out, I'm not going to be able to tell everybody where that is in the world and what they can do with their knowledge. But point being, I want to share with people a little bit of what, how I rephrase that, how I do what I'm doing, just a little bit. I mean, everybody knows, I'm sure by now. I mean, I make videos and I do private consulting. That's how I make my living. But how to take that idea and do it yourself, not necessarily making tutorials and doing private consulting, but using the internet, and or just any means, but internet in this particular scenario, to generate an income, and not only an income, but an income that comes with less stress, less interaction with the cause of stress, which a lot of times, I'm sorry, but our clients, and I don't know, just reaping the rewards from all this. So that is the point of the show today. And again, I'm very tired, so I will fumble my words, and so I just did it. But I have my piece of paper that will guide me through this show with 6 notes on it, and I will make sense of it. So we're going to start with a quick track here for me to arrange these thoughts into a show while we listen to it. So again, rehashing old music because I haven't had time to scout out more musicians to put on the show. But and that if anybody has friends that are in bands, or if anybody's in bands and they want me to play their songs, send me an email or a message on Facebook. Send me a link to your Reverb Nation, your SoundCloud, your whatever. Tell me what songs you want me to listen to, and if they're appropriate and they don't make my ears bleed, I'll play them. But I'm running out of time to locate fresh new material, but I do need breaks to think. So here's one of those thinking breaks. This is Left Lane Cruiser Big Mama.
From Hollywood, Pabst Blue Ribbon, finest beers served anywhere, proudly presents
Goddamn, wish I sure could be your man. Hot time living Live Speak with Justin the Geek every Sunday at 2 p.m. He's bringing you amazing courses from great instructors on Udemy.com. Lots of tech talk, phone calls, and much more. Live every Sunday of every week. Live Speak with Justin the Geek. You're listening to the Digital Craft Radio Show, hosted by Alan Quant. Brought to you by thedigitalcraft.com, your web and design gurus.
So, that was that. That was Big Mama Left-Link Cruiser. They are signed to Alive Records. Yeah. I just got the warning that the dogs and family are awake because I heard a large thump of the fat wiener dog jumping off the bed above me. So, we may get interrupted shortly. But I had a chance to arrange my thoughts. And so, passive income. For those who don't know, I'm going to give you my definition of it. Other people can look at Wicca something and find the actual definition. But basically, to me, passive or pseudo-passive income is being able to do something and then let it build income. Whether it is writing simple blog posts and slapping a bunch of Google ads on it and leaning back and reaping the rewards, or doing what we do here at the Digital Craft, which is make radio shows, videos, things like that, and pretty much do the same thing. We slap ads on them and we make money. Now, not everything that we do is passive income. Of course, I do private consulting, but the private consulting, as I mentioned when Justin interviewed me on his show, I love doing it. So to me, it's not really a job. It is a job, but to me, it's just as good as passive income because I'm sitting here doing my job on my own terms, and people are picking my brain, and I'm making an income from it. So that's kind of where the title came from, the www.brain.money. So it really has to do with, sorry, I got interrupted. It really has to do with taking what you have in your brain and using it to make you an income, if I haven't made that clear yet. So who's this good for? Students, people that are going to be retired soon or retired, like to make extra money, people who do not have a retirement plan, that's a big one, things like that, and just anybody really. I mean, anybody who has the ability to work for themselves, and the know-how to generate income and do it without stress. So, some people this applies to would be, or some areas that you could think of, people with trades. I use my father as an example. Granted, he's a real estate agent at the moment, but previous to that, he was a licensed contractor. My mother, previous to being a real estate agent, was an interior decorator. She is well known for staging homes, along with her real estate service here. My dad is well known for lending a hand on homes and things like that need extra assistance with his, previous construction knowledge and contracting knowledge. What can you do with that? How hard would it actually be to take a camera, in my dad's case, and hopefully he doesn't get mad at me for using him as an example. They are still real estate agents, so anybody listening to this is not them finding another job. I'm just using them as an example. But my dad, he likes to get into a lot of projects. Many times up at their lake cottage. In fact, I think this year they're going to be building a garage, a standalone garage that actually has a room in it so that guests can stay out there in the garage. Well, not in the garage, but there's going to be an actual bedroom in there. And he's going to be building it from the ground up. I think if I remember correctly, the only thing he is going to have help on is laying the foundation. Everything else, of course, he'll have help from myself and family members, but I mean, this is his project. This is, we're not hiring anybody to do it. So how hard would it be to take a video camera and detail what you're doing, cut it up, turn it into YouTube videos, slap some ads on it, let it become pseudo passive income? So things like that. That's one idea. There's many people in trades like that. My mother, for instance, she could do staging advice, videos on that, even looking at my new bad habit, Fiverr.com. People with like my mom's experience could get on there and give staging advice for really cheap, along with the add-ons. I mean, anybody who's used Fiverr knows that not everything's $5, but that's kind of the gateway. But giving advice like that, and making some extra income on the side, potentially turning into a full-time gig. I know it's probably my mother's favorite part of the job that she does, because it's creative and show off where a lot of her talent lies. I mean, she's a brilliant real estate agent as well, but what better way to show it than to have something visual like that. So those are just a couple of ideas that I come off the top of my head. But take the Fiverr example. If you look at it on the surface, I mean, I know the first time I went there, I was like, this is a joke, and I went away. There's people doing all sorts of random weird stuff, dancing in bikinis and saying whatever you want them to do for $5, and so I moved on. But I got reintroduced to it last week or the week before, and I started realizing that there's actually really some good potential to make money on there, and the people that are doing it correctly, or at least strategically, can. So yeah, of course you have to put a listing in there for $5, but $5 is so cheap that people are willing. Like I posted earlier on the Facebook page, it's almost like it's not. It's like $5 is almost free in people's minds these days. So people are willing to give it a shot, give this service a shot, give somebody doing their data entry for them a shot, give them $5 to make a television or a radio commercial, which we didn't do, but things like that. So you take that and then you put the add-ons on there, which the add-ons even seem like they're nothing either, because you only paid $5 for this. What's another $20 to toss on that to get a fuller package? You take that, which gives you, it doesn't necessarily give you less liability, but people are going to be less likely to give you negative feedback. Now, everybody, I mean, there's always somebody, but you're more than likely going to get either just a pass if the person isn't happy, or you're going to get good feedback, because it isn't a lot of money. Most people that go into it know I'm tossing $5, $20 at this person, crossing my fingers. It's worth a shot, because if it works, I just got a great deal. If it didn't, well, I got what I paid for. So you can kind of win on that aspect. On the other side, it is such a low number that if you do a great job at your service, for people who don't know this, I'll sidebar here. It is customary to tip on there. I was not aware of that when I first used it, so I apologize to the services I got, because they were worthy of a tip. But so with that said, if I ordered something for $20 on there and they did an excellent job, they got it to me faster than they said they would, that's another strategic thing to do. Don't tell people that you can get it done in an hour, even though you can do it in an hour. give yourself some buffer, give yourself some time. Don't stress yourself out either. But if you give yourself some time, then you can do it quicker. You can exceed their expectations very easily. If you know it only takes you an hour, tell them 24 hours and then get it done in 4 or 5 hours. And not only did they only pay you $20 for it, and again, I'm just throwing that number out there, but they got it quicker than they thought they were going to get it. And you're the one who decided how long it takes. They didn't. So when you put that higher number on there, you're giving yourself that ability to make your product even better, or at least appear even better. So people will be more likely to tip you after that. And whether that tip is an extra $5 or an extra $50 or whatever or more, you just made, let's just say, $70 off of something that takes you an hour to do. That's pretty cool. So, that kind of covers that. But what I really wanted to make a strong point is that as long as you have something to offer somebody, some sort of knowledge, it doesn't even have to be some big thing. I can't think of the right word again. Remember, I'm tired. It doesn't have to be some well-known thing. It doesn't have to be about websites or construction or some widely known thing. It could be obscure things that you don't even think that people want to know how to do. It's worth trying. Get your take your skill, put it out there, and actually the more obscure probably the better. You may not get 1 million views. You might get 200,000, but you still got 200,000 views or purchases or whatever that fits into, because it was obscure. It's something that there's a small market for, but no one is showing people how to do it or how to work with it. And if you're in the field or in the area that I'm in, and we're in at the Digital Craft, we've got a lot of competition. There's a lot of people out there making video tutorials, text tutorials, books, things like that. It's a very saturated market. So if you do have something obscure, go for it. It's money that someone else is going to make. And that's something I spoke with Justin about on his show too, with ads and stuff, about the Google ads. I have a website. People go to it. Granted, they do not go to it as much as my YouTube channel or even the Facebook page. But they do go to it. We have outstanding traffic on that website. But we don't generate anywhere near as much revenue from the ads on the website that we do on the videos on YouTube, which obviously, that's where most of our content is. But even if I only make $5 a month on the website ads, it's $5 that somebody else would have made, or nobody would have made, or more importantly, I didn't make. And so do it. If you can, do it. If you have a website, if you have just a simple blog, I like to put hats on my kittens .blog something. I'm trying not to make up real websites that might exist. But if you have that and you get traffic, put ads on it. Even if it's going to make you $1 a month, it might even make you 100. You don't know. You really don't until you try. So, again, that's not necessarily. We're kind of teetering on passive plus the whole using your brain thing. But the main point I'm trying to make is, if you've got stuff up in there in that noggin, people want to hear it, and you can make money on it. Let me gather my thoughts and figure out how I can avoid the distractions that I'm getting if it's not obvious that I'm distracted. We're going to switch to another song here. This is Nothing at All, Pleasing Melody. We'll be right back.
the ones that came in with. I go to mother, but when no film, things got rough, had a melon, and if those, well, just know the matter. Oh no, nothing, brother, nothing for me. No, you're not too friendly, no, I can see. Like a love shot from the street. Not me, homie, in my dream. There's never getting up, brother, nothing for me.
You're listening to the Digital Craft Radio Show, hosted by Alan Kwan. Brought to you by thedigitalcraft.com, your web and design guru.
So, we're back. Oh, what a show. It's morning, which is like night to me. And I think I've got the distractions down to a minimum. The family is up, getting ready. Now I'm just trying to hope the dogs don't start barking at nothing. I mean, they'll bark at leaves growing. It's ridiculous. So, on a lighter note, the reason I'm doing this show, if you didn't hear in the beginning, is I'm trying to stay awake while I upload the next video in the dynamic series. And this will be the last show. I don't know about last show, but this will be the last. I don't know how to word it. We're gonna start doing scheduled shows on Sunday, things like that. They'll be advertised ahead of time. The topics will be advertised and well thought out, and prepared for. And Sundays, not Saturdays. I'm killing myself. But anyways, yeah. So that video though that we're waiting on is now uploading. So for people waiting on that, it says it has 1 minute remaining. So that's good news. Which means I don't have to talk much longer. And so anyway, this isn't going to be a long show. Like I said, it's just keeping me occupied. But I really want to stress this. I see a lot of people who work for themselves or work in jobs that they just can't stand. And there's options. There's ways to get out. For people who work in jobs they can't stand, but for people who work for themselves, there's a huge, especially if you don't have any business knowledge going into it. Like myself, first business I started was towards the end of 2003, and I totally failed. I didn't know what I was doing. I had one client. I was open, or at least my office that I had, the office space was open for about 9 months. I think I made a total of $800 in 9 months off of that client, and that project lasted the whole 8 or 9 months. So, bad situation, good experience because I got to learn from it, but bad situation. But so since then, I've worked places, I've worked for myself, worked for myself, and every time it gets a little better, but the stress also sometimes gets worse or better, depending on how well you pay attention to what you're doing and notice what it is about your job that you love. And again, we're talking about working for yourself. When you start peeling apart the layers of all the things that you do in a day while working for yourself, how much of that do you actually enjoy and how much are you actually good at? Because a lot of times what you're good at or what you're not good at is the reason why you're not enjoying your job. So try to find an outlet like what I do. I realized I like teaching. Even when I had owned my last business, I spent more time, I better be careful here, but I spent a very good amount of time teaching the folks I had working for me, because I think I had the most I had a team of 9 or 10 people working with me, some of which were employees, salespeople, a developer, a designer, blah blah blah, but a lot of which were from local colleges. They were interns, and granted, they were great hard workers, good at what they did, but they were fresh, they were green, and I needed them to know how to do the stuff that we were doing, the way we were doing it, and really more so just the way I wanted it done, being the owner. So I spent a lot of time training or teaching, or expanding on what they already knew. And I often look back to that as I continue to work for myself, and then work for other people again, and work for myself, etc. And that is the time that I was most happy. Now, when I wasn't happy was when I was teaching people on the side here. Nothing against people I was teaching, but I was teaching people kind of at random. There wasn't any strategy to it. And a lot of times it was just, I teach a couple times. I don't think I was charging anything, really. It was probably really cheap. And not much came out of it, good for me or good for the student, because it wasn't really my focus. I was just kind of doing it on the side. So between that and then looking at what I was doing at my office with the interns, I realized that is the one single thing that I liked the most about what I do. Not only like it, but I have nothing against it. So how do I turn that into a career? Well, I did it. A lot of which just kind of fell in my lap, and that's why I want to share it with people, because I didn't do anything special necessarily. I didn't do anything amazing. Sometimes people will say, "Oh my gosh, all the stuff you know," but that's awesome. I like hearing that, but I usually return that comment with, there is a lot of stuff I do not know at all. I don't even know how to change I don't know how to change my own oil. I know how to change my tires, but I won't do it for myself. I mean, I'm pretty inept when it comes to a lot of things, if it doesn't have to do with a computer. And even with computers, the hardware end of it, I don't care about it. But so I didn't, like I said, I didn't do anything special to get where I was. I made some decisions that ended up being wise, but I didn't even realize I was doing it at the time. So that's why I want to share it with people, because I see too many people stressed out all the time, and you don't need to be there. It's not that I'm saying you should stop doing part of your job because it sucks. I'm saying there's somebody else better for it, probably. So do the part you're good at, do the part you love to do, if you can, if you can pull this off, and let somebody else handle the other part. Let somebody else make the websites, make the graphic designs, do the video editing, do all that stuff. I'm going to teach, and I'll teach those people how to do it, rather than me working in the field and those people being my potential competition. I'll show them how to do it. I'll show them how to not only do it, but I'll try to make sure that they do it with as much, sharing as much of my hindsight as possible. So if you can take what I'm talking about and make sense of it, because it's early, and make it work for you, do it. It's worth it. It's good to, granted, again, I'm awake. I've been awake all night and I'm tired, but I'm still happy about it. You know what I mean? I've got bags growing on bags under my eyes, and I look like I feel, but I am. I'm happy that I'm doing this for a living, and other people should too. But with that, I'm going to end this show because my video is uploaded, and it is time for me to feed children and go to bed myself. So, I thank anybody who bared with me on this episode. I'm going to actually revisit this with a little more tact. But this is what I get for doing things on a whim. So anyway, I'm going to leave you with another band that we heard a while back on a few episodes ago. And I want to reiterate that if anybody, I don't care if I've never spoken to you in person or on Facebook, or, I mean, that's basically in person these days anyway. But if any of you who listen want to have your band or friends' bands on the show, or at least their music anyway, I may interview some bands someday. But shoot me a message on Facebook and send me links to your music. Make sure it is downloadable. There's not much I can do with it if it's not. I mean, there is, but I'm not going to go through the trouble unless it's down. I can download it and make sure that I have the rights to use it so that I don't get in trouble. So, with that said, we're going to end it now with Exterminate All Rational Thought, Part 1.
You're listening to the Digital Craft Radio Show, hosted by Alan Kwan. Brought to you by thedigitalcraft.com, your web and design gurus.